message from voters could not be more straightforward. Americans want an all-of-the-above energy approach, not government mandates, not restrictions. Joining me now is the man himself, American Petroleum Institute President and CEO, Mike Sommers. Mike, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us more. I know you recently laid out a 5-point policy roadmap for energy security. Tell us what you'd like to see in the coming 4 years.
Maria, one thing is clear. Energy was on the ballot a couple of weeks ago, and energy won. And that's very exciting. And Donald Trump has an opportunity to lay out a new plan, a new vision for America, one that ensures that the United States can continue to reduce inflation while also providing for energy security. API has recently rolled out a 5-point roadmap, which details plans for President Trump so that we actually know on day one that energy security is job one for the American people. So we're excited about this plan, and this is a roadmap so that Donald Trump on day one can ensure our energy future and reduce inflation.
And what's your take on the stewards that Trump has chosen to run this? Trump nominating Liberty Energy CEO Chris Wright for Secretary of Energy. Wright is a vocal supporter of fracking and oil and gas development. Trump also selecting North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior, which of course oversees energy projects. Your thoughts on these selections?
Maria, this is an all-star team. Doug Burgum has led one of the most important energy-producing states in our country, in the state of North Dakota. He knows this industry better than any other leader in our country. And then you put on top of that Chris Wright, who has been a true legend in the industry. He doesn't just know oil and gas. He knows nuclear. He knows geothermal. This is going to be a team that is going to put us back on the path of energy security. And if we can implement the API 5-point roadmap, which I think we can, that's going to lay the foundation for our economic growth for decades and decades to come.
Go through the 5-point plan, Mike.
So one of the first things that we think the president needs to do on day one is, first of all, to lift the LNG pause that was put in place by the Biden administration. This was a political plan that they put into place as a sop to the environmental community. We know that liquefied natural gas produced in the United States is one of the most important environmental accomplishments that we've ever seen. In fact, if you think about what happened in Russia, what Europe did to cut off Russian natural gas, the only reason that they were able to do that was because of American natural gas. We were able to replace about 85% of the Russian piped gas that was going into Europe during that crisis. It was because of American LNG. Number two, we need to get a permitting reform bill in place as quickly as possible, because we're not able to build anything in this country right now, particularly pipelines and high-powered transmission lines. If we're going to have the energy future that's going to supply the energy that we're going to need for decades and decades to come, we're going to need a permitting plan in place that ensures that we can actually get this stuff built as quickly as possible. Three, we need a tax plan that actually makes sense for the American people and American producers. And that tax plan should provide for sustainable growth for the American oil and gas industry for decades and decades to come. We also need to cut back on the regulatory agenda that this Biden administration has put into place, particularly their terrible EV mandates. We know that one of the reasons that we were able to advance and win in the state of Michigan is because of this EV mandate that the Biden administration has put into place. These regulations have continued to put a hindrance on American production, particularly production of American oil and natural gas on federal lands and federal waters. And that's the fifth point, is that we need to have in place a regulatory structure that allows for the production of American oil and natural gas on federal lands and in federal waters. We're down 91% in terms of federal leases on federal lands during the Biden administration. This is the first year that we won't have any lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico. Those are amazing. Federal waters in the Gulf of Mexico. We got to get those lifted as quickly as possible.
Really, really big point. And not only will this be a job creator, and these are high-paying jobs, by the way, oil and related jobs there, but they will also spark certain investment. I want to bring you in, Chris McMahon, on that. Do you see an investment trend here as well as this begins to ramp up?
Maria, we see 5 of the top 15 securities we see to own in the next 12 months are energy stocks. And it's all contingent upon what Mike was talking about, dismantling this architecture of bureaucracy, right? Because we see enormous opportunity, not only in energy companies, energy suppliers, pipeline suppliers. There's all kinds of infrastructure, you know, all the stuff. Certainly, I live in Western Pennsylvania, all the stuff around fracking that Mike's talking about. But I'm hopeful that they can dismantle this thing as quickly as possible and push this thing forward. The EV mandates are bananas. Everybody hates them. It was a vote against those things. You know, we need AI. The demand for energy for AI is so great that we need to get out of the way, get this bureaucracy out of the way, and let this thing run. So that's where we think we are.
Mike, your reaction?
Well, I couldn't agree with that statement more. AI is the future. And if you believe Goldman Sachs, who says that we're going to need 50% more energy in the next 10 years to supply the AI revolution, that means we're going to need all sorts of energy. Yes, we need a lot more oil and gas, particularly natural gas, which provides the backup for some of these alternative energies. So we're going to need a lot more energy to power the AI revolution. So what that means is you're going to have an infrastructure that's going to support that oil and gas industry, which means more pipelines in particular, which is why that point in the API 5-point plan about permitting reform as quickly as possible is really going to set the stage for the American economy for decades and decades to come.
All right, we will leave it there. Mike, very optimistic. We will watch all of that. Mike Sommers joining us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.